Crowley from Peer Executive Groups to give you an update on your financial performance from the fourth quarter of 2020. So we'll start today by looking at the 1212 and the 312 as it relates to our network. Right now, we're going to go to an instance view first. So we'll click on instance. We want to make sure that we've got the line of business we want to look at, which I have general tool and construction pulled up. And we're looking at the total revenue first, and you'll see that the median or the middle person over the fourth quarter was able to grow by 7.67%. You can see that here in the center. And then over the course of the last 12 months, meaning 2020, the entire year, we saw that the median was about 1%. Now, we do have averages, which will be a little different than that. So for the fourth quarter, our average was 6.4. Our average over the entire year for the members submitting data was 4%. So we had 4% total sales growth in the year on average. But the median, which is the middle operator, did 1% growth. So hopefully that's helpful to you. Now let's look specifically at rental. And so rental in the last 3 months, their median was 0.5 percentage point. So that's October, November, December. The average was much higher at 25%. And again, that could be thrown off by a couple of outliers. So we just need to be cautious about using that. I would say that I have more faith in the 1212 as far as rental revenue. So it's showing -2 on the year on rental. And the median is showing that the middle person did about 0.75%. So there was positive results from more than half of the people submitting. So good job. And then just to take a look at sales and other areas of the company, the median was up 17.82% in the fourth quarter. Could be related to how you track used equipment sales, or might be moving some inventory at the end of the year. Also on the 1212, we see more natural numbers, which is the median was up 1.42% and the average was up 2.75%. So that seems about right. Now, when we compare that data to previous data, which we have the ability to get to in the trend view, you'll see that you can see over the course of the year the average, what happened with the average data. So 7.54% became 6.41 on from third quarter to fourth quarter. But more importantly, we want to look at the 1212, and that went from 6.13 down to 4.09. So fourth quarter was good, but not as good as what happened in the third quarter on average. Again, not the median, but the average we're looking at right now. So you can click in these sections to see what that trend might look like for you. Remember, you'll have a blue dotted line. This is simply showing me the overall. I'm not an individual, so I'm not going to see my blue line. Also, this will look more like your composite book. It gives you the group average, the group median, top 25%. And again, if you have a goal set or budget set for your business, you'd see that show up here, and you'd see how am I doing versus goal. And it kind of down here shows you I'm outperforming or I'm underperforming in different areas. So that's a little bit about the growth in the fourth quarter. Let's switch now to our next category, which is productivity. And let's make sure that we look at the line of business we want. Now keep in mind that these filters over here to the left look at ARA regions. It looks at your peer group. It looks at a business that would be similar to yours, how many locations you have, what your volume might look like. And so in the productivity side of the equation, we're looking at revenue per employee. And again, quarterly revenue relative to the labor hours we're tracking. That includes salaried positions. Again, based on how many hours you work in a week, it could be 50 hours for salaried position. We also expect you to include overtime hours. So based on that, we're seeing a median of 107 for the fourth quarter. Now, just in comparing that number, it does look like we did about 132 on average. Our average was 140. The previous period, I should say, we were at 132. So we saw a little bit more productivity per employee based on who you have staffed and the hours you're working. Now on the cost side, we see a slightly different picture. The median operator had labor costs of 26.57%, and the average was about 35.7. Again, could have been thrown off by a few bad eggs, so we just need to be careful about using that average versus the median. And again, looking backwards at the previous quarter, when we go into our trend view, you'll see that the cost of labor actually went up. Right here it was at, well, here's the performance, showing performance went up in the fourth quarter, but the cost went up as well. So 21% of every dollar went to labor in third quarter, 35% of every dollar went to labor in the fourth quarter. Now that could be related to the fact that you might have year-end bonuses and things like that that also gets calculated into labor costs for that period. Again, you're able to look at that versus your goals if you click on Goal View. We're going to move on to the last category, and that's liquidity and debt management. This is the last time you'll see these categories, and you'll see the reason why. So the median right now is 11 times. That means you have 11 times cash plus receivables over your accounts payable. That is significant. Essentially it means you're saving for a rainy day. We like to see 3 to 4 maybe at best. You'll see if you Google it, it will show you should have a liquidity of about 2 to 3. You have a lot more in the rental industry, and hopefully you'll be using that money because your return on investment of purchasing fixed rental assets is significant, and that's really where you're going to make money. So just be a little cautious about that. I mean, you're concerned at 11, and it's actually continuing to rise. And it could be that you're just not taking money out of your business and you're doing well. So that could be the case. The average is 22, which is ridiculous. Okay, and then when you look at the trend on that, I'm going to go back, but liquidity in the past had been 11.2. So you can kind of see that similar to the previous quarter. Debt to revenue is a different number, and this will be inverted next time. We'll be looking at utilization, so dollar utilization of assets, and we're going to be looking at leverage of assets. This is the opposite of leverage, which is looking at your debt to revenue versus revenue to debt, which would be leverage. So right now we're showing about 50 cents of every dollar is held in debt for your revenue. So your rolling revenue of 12 months of data versus your, what your current levels of debt are. Now, if you look at that over time, you're going to see not much trend there, and that's one of the reasons why we're moving to a leverage study and utilization study. So that's a quick ratio. Debt to revenue, we're showing here 57% on average. Again, could be thrown off a little bit. I'd say the number's probably below 40 for the majority. This is showing 56, 57, and again, these numbers are not changing too much over the course of the year, but you have a full look at 2020 data there. Again, set your goals, talk to us. Anybody who is on this platform and submits their data every quarter, you have a right to give us a call, and we can walk through this with you, and we can establish your goals for your business every 90 days. So give us a call when you can, and thanks for watching this Loom update.